Hi, I'm Ann Coulter. Welcome to my Substack. I'm very excited for a Christmas interview. You can do all your Christmas shopping just from watching this Substack. I have the magnificent author, Andrew Klavan. Welcome, Andrew.
Hi, Ann. It's good to see you.
I will say that you wrote 26 books. I just counted them up. And I'm so happy because I have more to go. He is the most humble author in the world. They're the best books I've read in such a long time, basically since Agatha Christie. You're the best living writer. Thrillers, suspense novels. I'm not sure exactly what the genre is called. But after I had read a couple of them, I said, why haven't you been telling me to read your books? I'm kind of mad at you for that. You're just, oh, maybe my friends will stumble on them.
Yeah, no, I can never quite figure out how to do that. My friend Jeremy, who started the Daily Wire, once said to me, "There are many different kinds of intelligence, and your self-promotional intelligence is zero." That's so I think
And
that's
of
my
course,
problem.
my favorite, well, I don't know, they're all my favorites. But The Great Good Thing, your autobiography, everyone has to read that, has to read that. It is so moving. What's the
A
subtitle?
secular Jew comes to faith in Christ.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's mind blowing. Uh, Although I first found out Andrew was a Christian after, because he never told me to read or watch. Don't say a word. I'm just watching it one night, and at the end it comes on screenwriter Andrew Klavan. Oh, I know him. So I looked him up on Wikipedia, and I was prompted by that, and immediately emailed him, fellow
That's
Christian.
right. That's right. I remember that. I had forgotten that. Yes, I know. I keep that to myself as well. So. No, that
Well,
I that I'm pretty loud about. Yeah.
I do really, really, really recommend that book. It is such a fun read. Oh my gosh, you are such a good writer.
Oh,
Um,
thank you.
well, and I have questions about the process. I hope it's not usually like the process of writing your first book described in that. So one thing I should say, winner of two Edgar Awards,
Yes.
nominated for an Edgar Award for Don't Say a Word. You've had two of your books made into movies, Don't Say a Word, and what was the other one?
True
Uh,
crime. True
True
crime.
Crime with Clint Eastwood.
Right.
Huge smash hits, and I want to ask you about working in Hollywood. Um, Okay, this isn't the point of the interview, but I was checking on your Wikipedia page today, and I was very disappointed to see that you have become an Anglican Catholic. Those people are idolaters, Andrew.
Well, wait. What am I supposed to be? I thought you're a Presbyterian, right? Is that?
Yes, I also go to an Anglican church now because it's the best one in the
I
neighborhood.
know. That's the thing. They were the ones that they fit me perfectly. They have all the good theology, but none of this silliness.
Yeah, but they're still idolaters.
Well.
I hope we're past the paywall here. So, what is the genre of what's it described as? Suspense novels, thrillers, both?
Well, the British call it crime novels. That's what I've always called it,
Okay.
because there is always a crime in there somewhere. And sometimes, if it's suspense, you know what the crime is. You just don't know if they're going to pull it off. And if it's a murder mystery, then somebody is killed and you have to find out. But it's always a crime story.
Okay, I like that. That makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
Your description in that book, I was just making sure everyone watching this will read The Great Good Thing, of how you used to daydream as a child, which is hilarious.
It's good practice for writing stories. Yeah.
So you must have known, when did you know you were going to be a writer? At age 6?
Yeah, actually pretty early after I got over like wanting to be a cowboy, and a circus clown. I think that was writer was pretty much it. And for a while, I kind of strayed off into wanting to do this kind of modernist weird stuff, but that was because I was insane. And then when my sanity came back to me, I realized that I had always loved this kind of fiction more than anything else. And so, yeah, I had a big revelation. I had a hard time thinking, I have a fairly large vision of the world, and I thought, how do you fit it into these thriller stories? And then one day I read The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins, maybe one of the greatest thrillers ever written. And I
Mhm.
actually sat up in bed and I thought, that's how you do that. I just kind of followed that the rest of my career. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting because I read a book by, say, Andrew Klavan and think, I can't do this. I'm not even going to think about it.
Yeah, no, I've studied, when I wrote The Great Good Thing, when I wrote my memoir, the biggest shock there were two big shocks to me. One was that Christ had been in my life all the time and I hadn't seen him, which took a certain kind of idiocy that is almost beyond my, talk about humbling. That was very humbling because it was so obvious. I had people whose name would be like Christy would come up to me and say some amazing things just over and over again. It just happened. But the other one was how seriously I took my work. I mean, I think of myself as somebody who walks pretty lightly through the world, that doesn't take much seriously. And I thought, like, wow, that was serious. I mean, I would stay up all night long writing one sentence over and over again, all night till dawn, until I thought, okay,
Wow.
now I know how that sentence sounds in every which way. When Ben Shapiro read the book, he said, "What was that like? It sounds like hell," because he does everything so quickly. But I just thought, like, no, I want to learn how to do this word by word, and so I took it really seriously. Yeah, so
Well, it
shocking.
paid off.
Oh well,
Uh,
thank you. Just to hear you shower compliments, I would just come on the show and just listen to that. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking of doing that, just reading some of my favorite passages from A Woman Underground, and after that, The Dark and Strange Habit of Mind. I mean, some of the passages are so great. I want to get them framed and put on my wall. And then I thought, no, that won't make a good interview. And then I started writing down questions I have for you, and I have about 100 of them.
All right. Well, here I am. I'm ready.
Did you ever take any classes on how to write?
No, never. I never really believed in it. I always thought the biggest class is reading everything. So I read everything, and I didn't know I had to read everything until I got out of college. Like I kind of skated through school, but I always bought the books. And so when I got out of college, I realized I had blown it, and I just read them all. It took me maybe 15 years to get an education I could have gotten in 4 years if I just paid attention in school, but I didn't. And yeah, it was reading that taught me how to write again and again.
I'm glad you say that. That's what I would have guessed. And
Yeah.
I think everyone who goes to college has that experience. Young people watching, it's a cliche, but it's true. Youth is so wasted on the young.
It is. I mean, I think everybody thinks like if I could just go back and just put my head down and get my education, there would have been time to do all the crazy stuff later. But that's the way it worked out for me. Yeah.
Okay, one of the things of the many things I love about your books, is your character development is so beautiful, and you don't really see it in many books. It
Yeah.
seems to me these days, everyone wants to be like, they see that Agatha Christie has memorable characters, like Hercule Poirot and Miss Marple, and you could just, everybody knows what their little ticks and mannerisms and how they solve crimes. But what I've noticed most like crime novelists do is they just give their protagonist some freakishly weird but also boring attribute, like
Yeah.
blind, autistic, missing an arm.
Yes, that is true. That is absolutely true. Unfortunately, that's a good description. I mean, the thing, people always argue. Crime writers get very upset if somebody says that crime fiction isn't literature. But the fact is, crime fiction can be literature. Many of the greatest American novels are, in fact, crime fiction, and even some of the greatest British novels are crime fiction. But you can also write a good crime novel that's not literature, and that's the separating point. You can't write a good literary novel that's not literature because that's the definition of the genre. But there are plenty of books that are, you're glad you read them, you sat on the beach, it was lots of fun, and then you forget them utterly. And that's not what I wanted to write. I mean, I actually thought I have a vision of the world that is true and I can put it into fiction. And so I always want to do that. And to me, every story, a story is not a story until I have the characters who should be in it. Because if you think about, I always compare it to Hamlet and Othello. If you put Othello in Hamlet, the play is 2 seconds long, right? You tell him to revenge his father, just the killer is dead. If you tell Hamlet to think his wife is cheating on him on the evidence of a handkerchief, that play goes on for 3 days, because he can't make up his mind. So it really matters who's in the story and what the story means. When television became a big thing, I tried for a while to break into it, but I couldn't because I couldn't imagine a story that just went on forever. I thought a story is a journey of people in certain situations, and so that's to me the key to writing novels altogether.
That's a good point. Your novels, I mean, that's the other thing. The plots are really intricate and really interesting. Really interesting. A lot of plots Okay, somebody dies, but
Yeah.
not really buying it. Whereas even though yours is sort of fantasy, I mean, Cameron Winter, he is based on you, right?
He's a much, much better looking version of something kind of like, no, he's not. But I did give him certain traits. I gave him more traits. There's only one character I ever thought was based a little bit on me, and that's the guy in The Uncanny, who's I mean, he's much more sordid than I am. He's a much more sordid person than I am. But at least he's dealing with certain things that I've dealt with in the world. But I did give Cameron Winter. He loves the romantic poets, and I love the romantic poets. And he's a gentleman, but he's a hard character, which I think is one of the surprising facets of my life. I mean, there's a place where you get to with me where, because I'm incredibly polite, people think they can kind of push me around, and they always find out that I'm a very hard character, and that's something. But I made him a hard character in ways that I'm not. I mean, he's a killer, and I actually have avoided that so far, although the night is young. Uh, so he has a few traits that are mine, I have to say.